on at 5:30, scheduled to come on at 5:30, and then the ELA at, okay, and the ELA at 6:30, so that it'll wrap at 7:30. But that's going to be all on Facebook and YouTube, not Zoom, but Facebook and YouTube. Okay. And that enables us to get it to everybody in a timely manner. This coming Shabbat, we're not in the situation to set up our sukkah this year, as we have done in past years. So what we're going to do is this Shabbat, I'm going to do in anticipation of Sukkot, pre-Sukkot. So, it's a discount sale, right? Early Sukkot, you get the discount. And I have a story and a little video clip to go with the story. And that'll be to get us into the mood for Sukkot. And then the following Shabbat, and again, for logistics purposes, we're going to do our Yizkor service that we normally do the end of Sukkot. Tuesday of the following week, we're going to do that on Shabbat also. And that's in the interest of being able to keep ourselves organized, as we don't have the resources to run things all the way on all the dates and events. So that's what's coming up. My guest speaker for tomorrow is going to be Rebecca Sealfan. She had an essay in the Jewish Journal just a few weeks ago, and that's why I contacted her. She happens to be a daughter of a second cousin of mine, so that's how I know her. And it was about reaching out, that if we want to reach our own young Jews, we have to be able to speak about Judaism to non-Jews. That when you talk to others, you yourself know what you're about, which is a very great starting position for us. Okay, and we're running 5 minutes to go. Okay, I have a musical selection that you can put on at the beginning and just run the clip while we're waiting. It's the very first one. It is by Marina. It's the very, very first one at the very beginning. It says Kol Nidre. You're on the one that says Kol Nidre. Let's see. Okay, you have it? It's on the spreadsheet that says Kol Nidre. There we go. That's right. There we go. So, huh?
For the things they visit, I can count on you to criticize. Like always.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to welcome everybody. I'm going to mute all of you. I apologize for that. But this way we can her. She gave me express permission to use it, so I don't have to worry about anybody's copyrights, personal friend. So we're going to go ahead. We said at 6:30 was the candle lighting time, so some people were here at 6:30. Some people just came in. Why don't I ask for a volunteer just to do the blessings over the candles? Shel Yom Tov. Shel Yom Tov. Barbara. You know it. You still remember your Hebrew?
I used it before.
So say it again. You know, Jenny, you come stand with her and say it with her. That way, it's not a bracha levatala. You're saying it's not a bracha that has gone to waste. So if you want the text, it's on page 6 in the prayer books, but it's very short, so go ahead.
Okay. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של יום טוב. Amen.
Amen. And let's say the Shechianu for, again, new Yantif, a new day, new festive.
שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen.
And then, what else? The sun is just setting. I mean, it's still light outside. So, as we approach the Kol Nidre service, it is done officially while there's still light outside because it's a legal format, legal event, and legal events are not done on Shabbat or. So, to sense that we're still in the day, we go ahead and we do the Talit blessing together. So let's join in together. And we can take the Talit, those of you who have the Talit, and say the blessings together. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu v'tzivanu v'tzivanu lehit atef b'tzitzit. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, who has commanded us to wrap ourselves in the Talit. And say we only do it during the daytime, and we keep it on already since we're already wrapped in the Talit through the Kol Nidre. It's the only time where we actually have the Talit on all night. All day. There we go. That's it. My Thai is playing games with me. Guys, and now we're going to go ahead. Let's open the Machzor, page 107, and just do an introductory reading for us as we get into the atmosphere of the day. On page 107, I'm going to put the text up on the screen for you. There we go, that one, that's fine. That's fine, that's the one I have up here, yes. So let's read it together. Read it together, you have a paragraph. Okay, what an extraordinary gift it is, what a blessing, what a miracle to have been raised by imperfect parents who did their very best, to share our life with a partner no more flawed than we are, to count as a friend one who understands and accepts us most of the time. How hard it is to be good enough in our ties to one another, to give, even when we're exhausted, to love faithfully, to receive with grace the love imperfectly offered to us. Can this night set us free from the tyranny of expectations? Can this night release us from fantasies impossible to fulfill? We resolve this night to embrace the practice of forgiveness, to forgive others who failed to be all we hoped they would be, to forgive ourselves when we fall short of what others hoped we would be. We declare this night that we will cherish goodness wherever it is found and open ourselves to the gifts that are before us. Okay, we're going to go ahead now over to the Kol Nidre service. So we're going to open the Ark. I need 3 volunteers to hold the Torahs during the Kol Nidre. And since we're doing the repetition 3 times, if you get tired, we can take alternates to hold the Torah. So we'll go ahead, we'll open the Ark, have it ready. Okay, and please rise. We're going to go to page 110. 110. 110. Go ahead. Keep on going. Go one more page up. Let me see this one. That's right. Okay, very good. Okay, that's fine. The paging is off a little bit, but that's fine. Good. So, go ahead. Take out the scrolls. As they come out, what we have is a legal proceeding as if we're in an actual court. Hence the three Torahs, the three times that it's repeated. Court orders and edicts are always addressed three times to make sure everybody heard and understood. That's why we repeat the prayers three times in this. And behind it is the idea that, as we are sort of familiar, in Kol Nidre, we know that we have said very, very stupid things over the course of the year. Everybody does it, right? And sometimes we make pledges and promises that we know we really can't, and we can't live up to. Now, if they're contracts where we're bound to somebody, money for an action, action for money, something like that, you can't get out of that. But if it's a foolish promise where you know really you couldn't keep it, silly words, words that have no content, we want to get those off our chest, because especially for us Jews, words are our weapons. They're our most powerful weapons. They're far deadlier than guns and explosives, believe me. And so to those we ask forgiveness. It is said that the prayer Kol Nidre, the text as we have it, became, we'll say, popular during the time of persecutions when Jews were forced to accept Christianity or Islam, lived as Marranos or Conversos, and therefore said, yes, I'm going to accept the faith. And then as soon as they got out and got back to the Jewish community, sometimes it would take generations later, they say, I didn't mean it. Or the children would say, my father didn't mean it, my mother didn't mean it, or my grandparents didn't mean it, or maybe many generations went by. And so to make them feel that they could be forgiven for their words and be accepted in the community, that's where the Kol Nidre caught. And that's why it opens up with the words, Anu matirin litpalelim avaryanim. We give authority to pray together with those who have violated our deepest tenets, and yet we accept them. Okay, we start with Or Zarua on the top of the page. It is page 110. It's 112 in the print in the online version. Go ahead, Cantor. It's all yours.
Or Zarua lahatzadik ul yishrei lev simcha. Or Zarua lahatzadik ul yishrei lev simcha. Or Zarua lahatzadik ul yishrei lev simcha. Or Zarua lahatzadik ul yishrei lev simcha.
Light is sown for the righteous and gladness for the upright in heart. Now the legal formula, B'Yeshiva Shema, this is the call to the court to be in order. The court is called into order. B'Yeshiva Shema.
B'Shiva shel ma'ala u'b'Shiva shel mata al da'at hamakom ve'al da'at hakal anu matirim להתפלל עם עבריינים.
The sight of God and of the congregation, no matter how far away some of us may have transgressed by departing from our people and our heritage, we pray as one on this night of repentance. Scroll up a little bit more. The other way. The other way, the other way. Go ahead to the next page. Go one more. And this brings us to the Kol Nidre. So we're going to chant it once, the cantor in the original Aramaic. That's the language that was used as legal forms were created. Once in English with a cello recitation by the famous composer Max Bruch. And third time again by the cantor, so we'll have our 3 repetitions. Go ahead, cantor, please begin.
Kol Nidre Services Vacharamei Vekonamei Vechinuyei Vekinusai Ushavut Din Edarna Udeishtabana Udeaharimna Vedya Saharna Al Nafshatana Miyom Kippurim Ze Od Yom Kippurim Haba Aleinu Letova Ulhon Niharat Navehon Ulhon Yehon Sharan Shavikin Shavitin Vetamin Umevotalin Lasherin Vela Kayamin Niderana Nidre Veyesarana Lahesare Shavuatana La Shavuot.
Now we're going to read the English. Scroll up just a little bit up so we can see all the English. There we go, very good. And we're going to read this and then have the musical rendition. Let's read it together. All vows, resolves, and commitments, and terms of obligation, sworn promises and oaths of dedication, which we promise and swear to God and take upon ourselves from this day of atonement until next day of atonement, may it find us well. We regret them, and for all of them we repent. Let all of them be discarded and forgiven, abolished and undone. They are not valid, they are not binding. Our vows shall not be vows, our resolves shall not be resolves, and our oaths, there shall not be oaths. So now we play the cello recitation. It's Kol Nidre, number 2. Yes, good. Zul Bailey performing. Okay, that's the prelude. Those of you who were here Shabbat morning and may have watched on the Facebook replays, Beethoven was so much caught up by the melody of Kol Nidre that he introduced a few elements into his string quartet, and still one of these great classic melodies, very resonating in our hearts. So we switch the Torah scrolls again, so we give a break to those who are holding them. We're going to go into the third rendition of the Kol Nidre, page 114. There we go. 111 in the print Machzor. Okay. And if you can put the prayer book back up on the screen so we can follow. Okay. There we go. Good. Go ahead, Cantor. Yes. The same page, but just move up a little bit to the top of the page. The other way, just a little bit. That's it. Good. Go ahead, Cantor.
Kol Nidre V'yesarei V'charamei V'konamei V'chinuyei V'kinusei Ushavut Din Darna Udeish Tabana Uniacharimna Vedasar Nal Nafshatana Yom Kippurim Zeh Od Yom Kippurim Nicharat novehon Ulhon yehon charan Shvikin shavitin betalin La sharirin vela kayamim nidrana la nidrai veyasarana la esarei Ushavuatana La Shavot.
We've gone down to the bottom half of the same page. We declare 3 times again, all shall be forgiven, the entire community of Israel, and the stranger lives in their midst, for they have gone astray in error. V'nislach.
ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל, ולגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם בשגגה סלח נא לעוון העם הזה, כגודל חסדך, וכאשר נסעת על העם הזה ממצרים ביד הנה, ושם נאמר.
And Moses prayed to God, as you have been faithful to his people ever since Egypt, please forgive their failings now, keeping with your boundless love, as it is said. We continue the next page.
ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך.
And let's all join in the Shechianu as we've made it through this Kol Nidre prayer, asking for our words to be wiped out, the foolish words, the silly words, the rash words. And then we got through this. Let's say Shechianu. Please cantor.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Blessed are you in our lives. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might, giving us life, upholding the life within us, and bringing us to this time. We return the Torahs to the ark, so I can take 2. We'll go in there, and I think we'll put 1 on the stand over here. So, yeah, let's see. Put this one in there. I think that one, yeah. Do you think it'll stand? I'll try it. Put it there. Okay. But we'll try to put it in here, see if it sits. Yeah, good. Thank you. I'm going to sit down for a second while we're putting the Torah scrolls away. And before we start with the Baruch Hu, get yourself off your feet. Just to give you a reprise for a few seconds, because we're going to stand up again for the Baruch Hu, which is right now. This is Jewish gymnastics. You stand, you sit, you stand, you sit. Otherwise, we would have, clots in our feet if we didn't do this, right? So we're doing you a favor. So let's rise for the Baruch Hu, page 113. Page 113, the Baruch Hu, and it's on 115 on the screen online. Okay, come to cantor, please. Open up.
Die, 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 die. Die, 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Okay, and let's go ahead. I'm going to go through the first paragraph here. So scroll the page up a little bit. Scroll up a little bit. That's it. That first paragraph. And the prayer of the first paragraph is a recognition that God is the one who, in the magnificent ordering of the universe, which works like clockwork, if you ever study astronomy, you know that's sun rises and sets, and we can predict it very reliably that the moon is in a certain angle on a very predictable basis, and certain stars are found in the quadrants in the sky very predictably. And so out of this we have the sense of watching this in the evening as it sets and the night stars come out, that there's an order and there's a purpose in the universe, and that teaches us about God from watching that miracle. So the last words of the first paragraph of the evening, ushering in the evening.
והל חי וקיים תמיד, ימלוך עלינו לעד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המריב ערבים.
Amen. And we continue the next paragraph, which we accept that we feel the presence of God's love in the teachings of the Torah, and happy that we can observe the teachings of the Torah.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Amen. Let's go ahead and move down the bottom of the next page. Keep on scrolling. And the bottom of that page, there's a teaching about the idea of Torah, the value of study. Right in the middle. Now go back up, the other way, the other way, the other way. That's it. And we're going to read that together. So move back. Move back up, back up. That's it. There we go. So we're going to read this one about why we were privileged to accept the Torah. Let's read it. An ancient legend teaches that when our ancestors stood at Mount Sinai, God said to them, "Before I give you my Torah, you must give me something precious that proves you are devoted to it." The Israelites thought long and hard, and they offered the jewelry, but God did not accept it. Then they thought harder about what was most precious and offered the patriarchs and the matriarchs, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah and Jacob, Rachel and Leah as proof, but God refused that offer too. Finally, the Israelites said, "Our children and all generations of children after them are what is most precious. We will teach them to love and honor God's commandments." And please, God responded, "For their sake, I will give you the Torah." And we have been merited to have the Torah with the condition that we have to make sure that we have generations that come after us that keep up the teachings of the Torah. Let's go ahead with the Shema this evening. And on this evening, we recite the Baruch Shem. Tradition has it that when Jacob was on his deathbed, and remember that Jacob's name is Israel, his children gathered at his deathbed, and Jacob looks at them and he says, "Oh my God, who are these guys? They've become Egyptian on me because they're in Egypt. What's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to the children?" And so all, as his sons hear this, they all answer to say, "Shema, Yisrael." Listen, Israel, Jacob, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. God is our God and one. Upon which it is said that Jacob heard this, he was relieved, and he said, "Baruch Shem Kavod, blessed be the name of the glorious God forever and ever." So that's the tradition behind it. So why did we not say it's traditionally during the rest of the year? Because the Roman Empire thought we were a threat. That when we said, "Blessed be the kingship of God," we meant, well, then the opposite, "Cursed be the kingship of Rome." So they wouldn't let us say it. But on Yom Kippur, the word is that we were not afraid of the Romans. On Yom Kippur, we would take our courage and we would say, "We don't care about the Romans. They can have their kingship and eat it too. We have our kingship." So we recite the Baruch Shem on Yom Kippur. Together, the Shema, together. Go ahead.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Together.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Vaed.
And together the V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לפניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We're going to go to the next page, and right in the middle of the next page, that's 116 in the print, it'll be 118 online. Right in the middle, go down, go down, and up, go back up, touch, above, go back the other way, just the touch. Now we're going, okay, go up, just a touch, slowly, that's it. And I have this, it's a whole set paragraph here from Rabbi Jack Creamer, who was a great poet for the prayer book liturgy, but he has this paragraph about the importance of hearing. And let's read this together. It is on page 116 in the print, it says 118 online. On this high holy day, O Lord, sharpen our ability to hear. May we hear music of the world, and the infant's cry and the lover's sigh. May we hear the call for help of the lonely soul, the sound of the breaking heart. May we hear the words of our friends, and also their unspoken pleas and dreams. May we hear within ourselves the yearnings that are struggling for expression. May we hear you, O God, for only if we hear you do we have the right to hope that you will hear us. Hear the prayers we offer to you this day, O God, and may we hear them too. And just scroll on down a little bit more to the bottom paragraph, that's it. And then just recite that to ourselves silently and pick up the last words.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem.
I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet, the Lord your God is true. We continue over to the next page, 117 in the print, 119 online, and move down to the middle of the page, to the Hebrew right in the middle of the page. And we're going to go into the Mi Chamocha, and then from there right into the Hashkivenu, the prayer for lying down, with a prayer that we lie down in peace at night and awaken in peace in the morning for us and for all Israel and over Jerusalem. Amen. So start with Mi Chamocha, and we'll go right into Hashkivenu.
Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi Chamocha nedar ba'kodesh Norot Eilot Oseh Ele Malchutecha Rauvanecha Bokeach Yam Lifnei Moshe Zeri Anu Beyimeru Adonai Imloch Le'olam Eved ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shema.
Kol Yisrael.
Amen. And we go right into the HTBE.
Ashkifeinu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shelomecha ותגננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו למען שמך והגן בעדנו ועשר علينا دبر بخرف ورهاب يقون وحصير سطن ملفنينه ومأخرينه وبتسل كنفيخ تستيرينو كي الشمرينو ومتصيلينو واتا كي الملك خانون ورحوم ושמור צאתנו ועינו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
We continue the next page, right in the middle of the next page, and the first lines of the Hebrew there, and that's it. And this is a declaration as an introduction to the Amidah that on this day, atonement will be made to cleanse you of all your sins. In the presence of God, you shall be cleansed. Kivayom hazeh. And then we're going to go right over to the Chatzikash, which is the next page there. We're going to stand and we're going to continue for the Amidah silently.
כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם לטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני תטהרו.
We're going to scroll on down to the next page, and right in the middle of the next page, keep on going. Not V'Shabbos, not Shabbat, and we have the Chatzi Kaddish. There we go, the Chatzi Kaddish. So please rise to the Chatzi Kaddish. I'm going to continue with the Amidah silently in the printed version, pages 119. We go through 128, and you have the English readings. You can do the Hebrew readings, the English readings, add your own meditations. If you'll just scroll through the pages online after the Chatzi Kaddish, and then give them about 30 seconds on each page so that people can follow along. So go ahead, page 119, the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמו דיבר חילותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי חון וביומי חון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עולמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו לילה ולילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירון בעולמה ויאמרו amen.
Okay, so we're going to scroll through the next pages, 121 through 128. It's 120 in the printed version. The Hebrew, the English, your own meditations, and then allow about a half a minute for each page.
Jerry, I'm doing the service, honey, so don't talk.
Okay, so you may be seated. We conclude our recitations. Cantor, I didn't put it in, but do you want to do a B'Sefer Chaim with them? Everybody seated. B'Sefer Chaim, which is just the last lines of the silent Amid at this point. B'Sefer Chaim, the book of life and blessing and peace and good sustenance, let us be remembered in your presence for good life and peace. Praise are you, O Lord, creator of peace.
בספר חיים ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה ניזכר וניכתב לפניך אנחנו בכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים, לחיים טובים ולשלום ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום.
Okay, Cantor, if you go ahead, take it easy for a second. I'm going to come to my words of wisdom, for what they're worth. Now, usually, after the Kol Nidre, there's a long pitch for funds to help the synagogue. But I'm going to save you time. And I'm not going to give the long pitch. Marcelo, we're not going to do long pitch. We got the point. I hope everybody's got the point. In order to serve you, whether you're coming here in person when we have our Shabbat services on Shabbat morning or online, you're following us online like this, in order to make it possible, your support is very, very important. Those of you who watched my Rosh Hashanah first night, I had introductory remarks. I talked about the history of the congregation. It's on Facebook and YouTube. You're welcome to look at it again, how far back we go, because it is going to be 100 years in January 26th, 100 years. When some filmmakers, budding filmmakers got together and said, hey, we can't just make movies, we've got to go and daven also. And they put together this congregation. So now you got my point, so I'm not going to belabor it anymore. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is, I'll tell my sermon, then you'll know what I'm talking about. How's that? Okay. So two Jews are sitting silently over a glass of tea. First one says, life is like a glass of tea with sugar. A glass of tea with sugar? Asks his friend, why do you say that? How should I know? What am I, a philosopher? So I didn't hear any laughs yet. Wait, I'll try it again. Different version. Okay, different version. So this is a different version. The young man, ordained by his teacher to be a rabbi, he sets out to serve his new congregation. He asks his teacher for one last word of wisdom. Remember this, he tells him, life is a fountain. Many years go by, and the teacher is on his deathbed. The student, who is now a mature rabbi of many years of experience, comes for a final visit to his master, and he says, Rabbeinu, I must tell you, over all these years I've given much thought to what you have taught me. It has helped me, but I have never fully understood it. Now, as you're about to pass on to the world of truth, please tell me, Rabbi, why is life like a fountain? He looks up from his deathbed and he says, no, all right, so it's not like a fountain. Okay, still, no belly laughs, no belly laughs. Okay, this is a tough audience. This is from the big book of Jewish humor. We're supposed to get a laugh. Okay, that's it. But why do I think of these quips? Because, you get this actually as a real question. Somebody asked me, really, Rabbi, what is the meaning of life? Came up to me. It's an important question. So at first I thought maybe he was just teasing me, like in the question about, tell me all of Judaism while I stand on one foot. But he was serious. So I thought of one famous quote from Ecclesiastes, Kohelet, and he said, it's the equivalent of eat, drink, and be merry. We said, go, eat your bread in merriment, and drink your wine with glad heart, for God has approved of your actions. It's the biblical version of eat, drink, and be merry. That's the Latin quote. Well, indeed, one of the sages of the Talmud, Shmuel, declared, Echol ushteh, eat and drink, for the world we are leaving is like a big wedding banquet. So we're in this world, we're at a wedding banquet. We should eat and drink and enjoy of it. Of course, you know that whenever somebody says something, there's always going to be the opposite. And so there are other rabbis who said, no, just the opposite. You don't eat and drink in this world, you behave very nicely because this is the entry hall to the banquet, which is in the next world, but if you misbehave, they're not going to let you into the banquet. Always two sides, always two sides. But I like the one with Shmuel. It says we eat and drink because this world is like a feast, like a wedding feast. So it's ironic that the Bible, which is the document of the relationship between the children of Israel and God, is very silent on many philosophical issues. It tells us an awful lot about the nature of human beings. It's chock full of stories about human beings and what motivates human beings and what's behind human beings. And it also tells us what God is not, but it does not tell what God is or what it's all about. It doesn't tell us that. And the rabbis even have their own, we say, put down for the idea of deeper philosophical questions. The study of the skies, the astronomies, and there was astrology in those days, gematriot, geometry, and other speculative sciences. Those are parparei chokhmah. The word parpar is a butterfly. Butterflies of the mind. They're just butterflies of the mind. Not important. It's nice, it's fun, but that's about it. There's another translation of that word which says, well, it's not really parparei chokhmah, but rafrefet. Rafrefet is a dessert for the mind. Okay, it's like ice cream, but it's not the main course. So what is the main course, they ask? Main course is, it is about pitchei kinim, about the laws of the woman's period, and about what animals are allowed at sacrifice. These are the key things. So what am I supposed to do? In other words, as a Jew, don't tell me about science, don't tell me about philosophy, tell me what I'm supposed to do. That's what Pirkei Avot said. That's the main thing. It's even another more radical position, the Mishnah, also part of Pirkei Avot, is also part of that, and that is the standard document by which we build our Judaism. And it has a statement, whoever asks what is above, what has been in the past, and what shall be, and what is below, whoever asks of these should never have been born. If you're going to waste your time thinking about what's in heaven or what's in hell or what was back in the history of the universe or what's going to be in the end of days, you have no business with us. We want to know here and now, what are you supposed to do? Very, very concrete Jewish thinking. Right? Of course, when you read the Talmud after that, you realize that once we said you don't study these things, you don't ask what's above, what's below, then we have whole pages and pages of what's above, what's below, before and after. Because that's Jews. You say one thing and they immediately do the opposite. But we're really always going back to the here and now, concrete. Don't ask me philosophy. Ask me what I'm supposed to do. It's a shying away from empty speculation. Now, human beings have to do it, but again, throughout Jewish thought, we want to be focused on what we are doing. So we have a phrase that's in the Psalms, Lo hametim yahalleluya v'lo kol yodei duma. The dead do not give praise to God. They're quiet. Nor those who go down into silence. But we, right? We are alive. We are able to praise God. And that's what's important. So if we look at the Bible, we find a strange silence, a deafening silence. There's no discussion on life after death. Not at all. Now, when we go to the Talmud, we find lots of discussion, all sorts of stories about what happens in the next world. The great thing is, women are going to be pregnant every day and have children every day. I don't think the women want this part. The other one is the man sits in heaven, he's meditating all day, all night. All sorts of speculations. It's free. Speculation is free. Jewish mysticism, filled with descriptions of the process of moving on beyond the grave, Gilgul Neshamot, entering heaven, but the Torah itself is silent. References to going down silently into Sheol, and there's one story about Samuel's ghost called up from beyond the grave by a witch, but that's about it. On the contrary, then, All the things that were in the pagan world that the priest was supposed to do to the dead and for the dead was forbidden to the Jews. Among the pagans, the priest took care of the dead, served the dead. Among the children of Israel, the priest was not allowed to touch the dead. He was not allowed until today. Somebody who's a Kohen does not go to the cemetery. Among the pagans, the mourners gashed the skin and tore their hair at the roots for the dead. In the Bible, it was forbidden. Among the pagans, the first offerings were set aside to appease the family dead. Among the children of Israel, it was forbidden to take those first offerings to give on behalf of the dead. It had to be given to the poor. And all this to what purpose then? To force us to focus on life, on how we live our lives, on how we carry out our lives, our commitment to God, to our fellow human beings. And that's the teaching that the Torah has for us. So I recall the story my father told of a poor elderly woman who was seen at the cemetery crying her heart out. And she says, "Good souls, pious souls, you are at rest. You have no more trouble. You have no more pain." And then she says, "But I'm in no hurry to be with you." We don't rush to join the dead. The summer I was in Israel. We spent the weekend in Ashdod. It was only a few miles from the Gaza Strip, where just a few months before that, rockets had been sent at Israel. So why is it they made their lives so miserable on just a few miles away on the other side of that fence? It's encapsulated in their slogan of Hamas, "Death for the sake of Allah is its most sublime belief." I think we can say for the opposite, that life for the sake of God is the most sublime belief. We're told, choose life. That's our command. There was a radio personality, Michael Jackson, it was maybe 30 years ago, not the singer, but a very popular radio talk show host. And he once hosted a philosopher, Robert Fulghum. And Fulghum had decided to go out to look after his final affairs. He bought himself a plot at the cemetery pre-need. And the practice there was that you would open the cemetery plot in the person's presence to make sure nobody was there by mistake. And then they would cover it up. So he said that whenever he feels that life is not going in any direction, or he's confused or embroiled in some earth-shaking problems, he goes out to the cemetery, looks at his plot, and remembers that he is better off not in the cemetery. He better get on with his life and not be mired in his troubles. So the irony is, where was I when I heard him talk about this? I was listening to the car radio as I was pulling away from a funeral. I don't believe we need to dwell on the macabre, but it does help to remember that life is short, and we have to make it sweet and good, and we have to help others make it sweet and good. So his thought is similar to that of our sages, who said a person should do tshuva the day before he dies, to which he is then asked the question, well, so how do I know what day that is? The answer is you don't. So you better start today to straighten out your life, to do tshuva, to undo your wrongs and do your rights. There was a debate between Shammai and Hillel, the two perennial quarrelers of rabbinic wisdom. And Shammai would go to the market on Sunday, find the best produce, and he would say, "I'm saving this in honor of Shabbat." The next day, Monday, he would find something better, and he would save that for Shabbat and eat yesterday's food. And so on, when Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and finally Shabbat, he had set aside the very best thing that he could find for Shabbat. But Hillel did just the opposite. He would go to the market on Sunday, found something exceptional, he ate it that day. He didn't wait for Shabbat. He taught his students, Baruch Hashem Yom Yom. Give thanks to God for each and every day. Each day is to be enjoyed. And just as that philosopher Robert Fulghum reminded us, we get wrapped up in our personal burdens and forget what we're living for. So I want to share with you a poem, this one from ancient India. It was a very favorite poem of my father, Rabbi William Weinberg. He used to quote this one, and it says, "Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities, all the realities of existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is already a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day." I've gotten to know many survivors of concentration camps. Many of them look death squarely in the eyes, day and night, lost family, friends. If any group should have despaired of life, it is the survivors. And yet they went as soon as the gates of the camps were open to rebuild, to raise families, to establish new lives. And I would attend parties here run by survivor organizations, and I would be constantly amazed at how much energy and vigor they had. And as long as the music played, they never stopped dancing. Very easy to give up, to stop when we face life's difficulties, and it doesn't take a concentration camp to do it. I see reports from mental health organizations of what has happened to our young adults under the threat of COVID, especially with children who have been locked up and cooped up. And they've lived sheltered lives, and now that they confront their first real danger in life, they have trouble to jump the hurdle. Right? When you have real difficulties, you learn to deal with them. So tomorrow we're going to mark Yizkor. We're going to ask that God remember the souls of those who would have departed this world. It's been a custom when we recall those whom we love, we give tzedakah. Tzedakah is more than just charity. It comes from the word tzedek, justice. In giving, whether it be money or assistance in kind, we do justice in the world. And we're told that tzedakah matzila mimavet, that charity, acts of loving kindness and justice, save from death. So tzedakah is not for the living, it is for the living. I'm sorry, correct that? It's for the living and not for the dead. For the dead, we offer our prayers, but we focus our deeds and actions on those who are alive. If our prayers today are to have any meaning, it can only be in the way we live and put meaning in our lives and the lives of others. So finally, as to the meaning of life, all life is sacred and all life is precious. But as to meaning, the meaning of life is what each and every one of us puts into it. That's the ultimate meaning. The ultimate meaning of life is what each and every one of us is to be found in the content we put in life. The meaning of life for Jews is not philosophy nor dogma, but mitzvot, doing of sacred deeds that sanctify and elevate our lives, both in relation to our fellow human beings and our relation to the divine. Whoever engages in these has meaning and has eternal life, and therefore, as the Torah tells us, choose life. May we choose life. Amen. Now we come to the second half of the Kol Nidre evening service, where we turn to the themes of forgiveness and the confessionals. And so we're going to continue page 130. Page 130. It's 129 in the print and 130 online, I think. Let's check that out. Ya'aleh, there you go, that's the one. Go back to the top of that page. Go to the top of that. There we go. Ya'aleh. And Cantor, would you please lead us in Ya'aleh?
Yalle, yalle, tachanunenu merev, ve'yavo shavatenu miboker, ve'yera erinunenu ad harev, ve'yera erinunenu ad arev, yalle, yalle, kolenu merev, ve'yavo tzidatenu miboker, ve'yera pidyonenu ad harev, ve'yera pidyonenu ad harev.
May our supplication rise up at evening, and our pleas arrive with the dawn. Our songs transform the dusk. May our voices rise up at evening, our righteous acts arrive with the dawn. Our redemption transforms the dusk. All right, our prayers go up and up and up. And so we continue now, page 130, with the expression, and I'll go to the next page, 132 on the online, 130 in the print. There we go, a little bit more, let's see. 130, The other way. Sorry, back down, back. One more. Back, yeah, go back. 132, there we go. And scroll to the middle of the page. We come to Haneshama Lach. The soul is yours, God. Since you made it, please care for it. The body is yours. Since you made it, please care for it. We've come to you in your glorious name because you are a merciful and compassionate God. And therefore, you shall acquit us, for you are gracious. Page 130, Haneshama Lach.
הנשמה לך והגוף לך חוסה חוסה על המלאך הנשמה לך והגוף שלך הנשמה לך והגוף שלך הנשמה לך והגוף שלך אדוני העשה למען שמך אותנו על שמך אדוני העשה למען שמך בעבור כבוד שמך כי יהיה חנון 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 ורחום שמך למען שמך אדוני אדוני וסלחת לעווננו כי רב הוא.
And now we go to the next page, 131 in the printed. It'll be 134 online. To the bottom of that page, we come to the element of God. Back too far, backwards, where the Hebrew starts. Go up a little bit more. There we go. Got it. That's it. And the key theme, or one of the key elements woven through, is the association of Yom Kippur with the golden calf. The golden calf, right after the Exodus from Egypt. What could be a greater betrayal of God than creating a false idol in the form of the golden calf, mistaking that for the liberator, the great liberator? And Moses goes up, as we recall the story, goes to God and says, forgive this people, but tell me what you're about. And God finally says, okay, here's what I'm about. Adonai, Adonai, I'm about being merciful and compassionate and forgiving. I just want to tell you that because I want to keep you on the spot, but I'm a softie. I'm a softie, God. I'll forgive you. I'll forgive the people. And so Moses argues him down to, he says, I'll forgive the evil up to the third generation. I'll still pay back. But if you're good, 1,000 generations. Later on, the rabbis erase even the third generation. Say, no, period. God will forgive. God will forgive. And so that becomes the theme repeated throughout Yom Kippur. So we've page 131. And let's stand for that. 13 attributes of God's mercy. Page 113, so we can open the ark for us. It's a very short opening. Go ahead.
ויעבור אדוני על פניו ויקרא אדוני אדוני אל רחום וחנון ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת נוצר חסד לא אלפים נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. וסלחת לעווננו ולחטאתנו ונחלתנו. סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, מחל לנו מלכנו כי פשענו, כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח ורב חסד לכל קוראיך.
And now you may be seated. Now on page 132, I'm going to show you this one, Ki Ine Kachomer. Just going to scroll to the Hebrew just very quickly and just look down in the bottom of the English for a second there. And you can see it starts out, go back up one little bit on the next page there, on the bottom now. Just give me the English on the bottom. Down, 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 down. And keep on going to the bottom of that page. Or is that, I'm sorry. Go back up. My mistake. I'm confusing you. My mistake. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. I'm sorry. There we go. Good. All right, now you went too far. I'm sorry. Trying to get it lined up. You ran too fast. At the bottom of that page, that says 130. There we go. Now, pull up slowly. Okay, so just that line, let's go ahead. So you see, here's a piyut, very famous one that we have, which says, Ki ine kachomer biyad hayotzer, for here I am as clay in the hand of the potter, who thickens or thins it at will, so we are in your hand, the guardian of love, recall your covenant. Do not hear the accuser, labrit habet v'al tefen le'yitzeh. Do not look at the covenant. Remember that we committed ourselves to you, and don't look at our accuser, our own shortcomings. And so it goes on, the same thing, the mason who creates the stone or smashes it, the blacksmith who forges or melts. And so we're going to play this version of Ki ine kachomer, which has a beautiful visual with it. It is right on page 133 in the outline. If you'll see this one, if we can pull it up. Because he takes the kachomer and makes it very visual for us. Go ahead with the screen share. Screen share? Yeah. You can see it gives some English commentary.
Birtzoi soy כן אנחנו בידך חסד נועצר לבריס הבית ואל תפן ליצר כי הנה כחוימר ביד היועצר ברצוי מרחיב וברצוי מקצר כן אנחנו בידך חסד נועצר לבריס הבית ואל תפן ליצר
Okay, now we go back to the prayer book. And I need someone to open the ark again. For Shema Kolenu, hear our voice, O God, have compassion and mercy upon us. Page 133 in the print, and it will be 135 in the online. There we go. Right there, right there. Don't go. Go back to the top of the Hebrew. Good, that's it. Shema Kolenu. Okay, hear our voice. Right? We ask God, please listen to us. Hear us. We are anxious. We are in anxiety all our lives. Listen to us. Accept with mercy and favor our prayers. And as we age and our strength goes, do not abandon us. Even into our last moments, be with us. Page 133, Shema Kolenu.
Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu Chus verachem aleinu vekabel berachamim Rachamim uveratzon et tefilotaynu Hashiveinu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chodesh Yameinu Kekedim Al Tashlichenu Milefonecha Al tashlichaynu milefonecha veruach קודשך אל תיקח ממנו אל תשליכנו אל תשליכנו אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה כי ככלות כוחנו אל תעזבנו.
Okay, we can close the ark. Just the last line.
כי אתה אדוני עזרתנו ותחתנו, כי לך אדוני אוכלנו אתה, תענה אדוני אלוהינו.
Man שמך הגדול תמך צלחת, כתוב בזה קודשך. Man שמך נר סלחת לעבודנו כי רב הוא. Let's sit down and you can read this in the English on the next page, 134. You can go online, just move down to the English on the next page. There we go. Yeah. And let's read it. Hear our voice, Adonai, our God. Be kind and have compassion for us. Willingly and lovingly accept our prayer. Turn us toward you, Adonai, and we will return to you. Make our days seem fresh as they once were. Do not cast us away from you. Take not your holy presence from us. Do not cast us away as we grow old. Do not desert us as our energy wanes. Continue the English. We say silently, do not abandon us, Adonai. Do not distance yourself from us. Give us a signal of hope. Enemies will understand and hesitate. You have been our help and comfort. Hear our words, Adonai. Consider our inmost thoughts. Words of my mouth, the meditation of our heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and redeemer. It is for you we wait. Surely you will respond, Adonai. And then we go ahead out loud and continue. Our God and God of our ancestors, do not abandon us. Do not forsake us. Do not shame us. Do not annul your covenant with us. Draw us close to your Torah. Teach us your mitzvot. Show us your ways. Open our hearts to revere your name. Circumcise your hearts to love you. We will turn to you faithfully with the perfect heart, as befits your own great name. Pardon and forgive our sins, as the psalmist wrote. For the sake of your own name, forgive my sins, though it be great. Salachta lavalnei kirav.
כי אנו עמך אנו בניך ואתה אבינו אנו אבותיך ואתה אדוננו אנו קולך ואתה חלקנו אנו נחלתך ואתה גורלנו אנו צונך ואתה רוענו אנו חרמך ואתה נוטרנו אנו פעולתך ואתה יוסרנו אנו רעייתך ואתה דודנו אנו סגולתך ואתה קרובנו.
So Kianu Amecha answers the question, why should God care? And so their answer to him is, well, God, because we're your people and you're our God. You're our Father, we're your children. And he continues on down and says, Anu Rayatecha, we are your beloved and you are our lover. You should take care of us. You owe it to us. Anu Skulatecha, we are your distinguished ones. Atak Rovenu, you're our near one. Our relative, closest relative, near one. Right? Therefore, God, you owe it to us to look out for us. We continue, page 136. Now, we got to get it off our chests. We've done things wrong. We know we've done things wrong. We have to at least admit it. And so we do it in the Ashamnu, and then we're going to do it in the Al-Chet. The idea being we do it together in the collective, because, well, I may not have done X, but he may have done Y. But why did he do Y or she did Z? Because I didn't watch them when I did X and they did Y and she did Z, right? So we all take responsibility. So maybe I didn't do X, but I could have stopped him from Y and I could have stopped her from Z, right? So therefore, the sins are listed in alphabetical order. So we make sure we cover everything for everyone. Ashamnu. So we stand up and it's customary that we, each time the cantor recites a letter, we knock one off our chest.
אלוהינו ולאבותינו, תאהבו לפניך תפילתנו ואל תתעלם מבחינתנו, שאין אנחנו עזי פנים וקשי עורף, לומר לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו, אבל אנחנו חטאנו. איי 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 אשמנו בגדנו, גזלנו, דיברנו דופי, איי 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 הבינו והרשענו, זהדנו, חמסנו, טפלנו שקר, איי 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 יעצנו רע, כיזבנו, לחצנו, מרדנו, ניאצנו, שררנו, אבינו, פשענו, צררנו, קישינו עורף, איי 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 רשענו, שיחתנו, תיעבנו, טעינו, תיתנו, איי 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 איי
And as long as we're up and we're getting it off our chest, let's move over to the next page, 138 and 139 in the print. It will be scrolling over one more page to 140 on the online edition. Go ahead. There we go, to the top of the page. And we're going to take a few of these in the Hebrew, in the English, a few in the Hebrew and the English, with the refrain V'al Kulam. And this is, again, it's an alphabetic listing of all the human foibles. And if you look at it very carefully, there's very little about not putting your tefillin on right, very little about, no, did you drive a car on Shabbat, do you light a match? No. It's mostly about what kind of words came out of your mouth, what kind of gossip did you say, who are you tricking, who are you deceiving, things like that. The everyday little things that we get tripped up on. Let's go ahead, the first few lines in Hebrew together, 138. And then the middle of the page we'll pick up the bottom with the English and the V'al Kulam.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך באונס וברצון, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך באימהות הלב, על חטא שחטאנו
לפניך בבגידה, You continue the bottom of the page in the English. We sin against you, O God, when we are dishonest. We sin against you when we cause hurt and shame. We sin against you when we waste our time or our talents. Sin against you when we neglect Jewish learning. We sin against you when we neglect the synagogue. We sin against you when we take advantage of others. For all these, O God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, and grant us atonement. V'al Kulam.
V'al Kulam Elo Selichot Selach lanu, mechal lanu, kaper lanu.
Continue over the top of the next page.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בכך שוחזב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בכפת שוחד. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעיניים רמות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעזות מצח.
We sin against you when we tell lies and do not keep our promises. We sin against you when we speak evil of others. We sin against you when we are spiteful and mean. We sin against you when we say that it's useless to do good. We sin against you when we fail to appreciate life's beauty. We sin against you when we are easily discouraged. For all these, O God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, and grant us atonement. We sin against you when we are thoughtless to our parents. We sin against you when we are disrespectful to our teachers. We sin against you when we are unkind to our friends and neighbors. We sin against you when we are greedy. V'al Kulam.
V'al Kulam Elo Selichot Selach lanu, mechal lanu, kaper lanu.
We continue the
חטא
bottom.
שחטאנו לפניך בפריקת עול, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בפליאות. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתשומת יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתימהון לבב.
For the sin of denial of the image of God in our fellow human being, the sin of incitement to violence, bloodshed, hatred, the sin of acts of violence, bloodshed, hatred, and for the sin of crimes carried out in the name of righteous causes. For all these, forgive us when we have removed it in ourselves and helped remove it in our fellow human beings. V'al Kulam.
V'al Kulam Elo HaSelichot Selach lanu, mechal lanu, kaper lanu. V'al Kulam Elo HaSelichot Selach lanu, מחלנו, סלח לנו, מחלנו, כפר לנו.
And we go ahead 2 more pages to 144 in the print. It would be 146, I think. Keep on going down. It'll be 146 on your sheet there. Keep on going, keep on going. Next page. That's it. Here we go. And going down a little bit more, keep on going. Touch, 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 touch. In the middle of the page, keep on. Sorry, keep on going. That's it. And right there, very good. Okay, let's read the English here. In great mercy we place our faith. Your loving kindness is our support. In your forgiveness we trust. Deliverance is our hope. Let's read with me. Page 144. Source of life, we have sinned. Forgive us, grant us pardon, O sovereign God. We have transgressed Adonai. You are the good from whom forgiveness flows. With boundless love you respond to all who call upon us. As you have been faithful to this people ever since Egypt, please forgive the failings now in keeping with your boundless love. As it is said, Yom Adonai salachti kidvarecha, page 144. Yom Adonai.
ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך.
And we continue now. Avinu Malkeinu, and it's customary to open the ark for Avinu Malkeinu, and we're going to chant the first verses together in the Hebrew. Then the middle we have Hebrew and the English, and pick up the last verses. We'll chant together the Avinu Malkeinu, and then we have a choral rendition that we'll put on the screen for you. 145 in the print, and 147 online. 147, keep on going a little bit more. There we go, that's good. So we start out together. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatan Lefanecha.
אבינו מלכנו אין לנו מלך אלא אתה, אבינו מלכנו עשה עמנו למען שמך.
אבינו מלכנו חדש עלינו שנה טובה, אבינו מלכנו בתי אלינו כזרות קשות, אבינו בתי מחשבותינו, אבינו מלכנו חפצת אבינו. Father, our King, we have sinned before you. We have no king but you. Do it for your sake. Renew upon us this year for good. Cancel all the evil decrees against us. You can in the middle of the page, towards the bottom middle. Avinu Malkeinu.
אבינו מלכנו כתבנו בספר חיים טובים. אבינו מלכנו כתבנו בספר גאולה וישועה. אבינו מלכנו כתבנו בספר פרנסה וכלכלה. אבינו מלכנו כתבנו בספר זכויות. אבינו מלכנו כתבנו בספר סליחה ומחילה.
Father, our King, inscribe us in the book of happiness, inscribe us in the book of deliverance, inscribe us in the book of prosperity, inscribe us in the book of merit, inscribe us in the book of forgiveness. We continue over to the next page, and in the middle of the page, right there. And we'll join in together with Avinu Malkeinu together, the last lines.
אבינו מלכנו עשה למענך והושיענו. אבינו מלכנו עשה למענך רחמיך הרבים. אבינו מלכנו עשה למען שמך הגדול, הגיבור והנורא שנקרא עלינו.
And we'll all join in together. Avinu Malkeinu.
אבינו מלכנו חננו בנינו. אבינו מלכנו חננו בנינו, כי אין בנו מעשים עשה עמנו. צדקה וחסד עשה עמנו. צדקה וחסד והושיענו. Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu Vaneinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim.
You can close the ark. We might as well remain standing, so you don't have to sit down and stand up, because we come to Aleinu, page 147, the very next page. Aleinu. Go ahead, Ken.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים
ומשתחווים עומדים
לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד.
And we can do the last lines.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Now, I'm going to confess, you see, we just finished with the Al-Chet. I got rid of all my sins and I already made another one because I promised you a version of the Avinu Malkeinu, and then I skipped and ran right into the Aleinu, so I have to make up for it. Okay? So, we're going to go back on, this is a recording. It's on the outline, it says page 146, 147, Zamir Chorale. It's a beautiful chorale of volunteer singers. It's been going on for years. Since I was a college student, they were already well established, and I once wanted to get in, except I couldn't read music notes well enough to really cut it. So, but they're good. They're very good. So listen to them. Zamir Chorale singing Avinu Malkeinu. Share screen and ready. you go. I promised you that rendition. Now, we're coming to the end of our service. We come to the Mourner's Kaddish. We can have the names up for those who are recalling this evening during this period. As we recite the Kaddish, we give testimony to the public that those people who came before us, their lives had meaning for us, and therefore we give expression to it in the declaration of faith in God. And that's its function. So we listed the names, and share that. 1 second. We remember those loved ones who passed away this preceding year: Elaine Goldsmith, Irma Smith, Margaret Zadok, Miriam Bodai. Miriam, for those who don't know, is the mother of Cantor Bodai. She passed away, it was just 2 weeks ago, I think. Yes, and
Night of Rosh Hashanah.
yes, just before Rosh Hashanah. And we appreciate that he has been here with us during this trying time. And thank you. And may our mothers be for a blessing. Others, Yatsek? Rachel Melman. Martin Cohen. Sandra Sokovic. Learn a slim about Yisrael. This was Yosef memory during this season. Learn a slim about Yisrael. Yosef Lerner, Morris Rosen, Rotovnik family, Koenig family, Rosalind Poe, Nathan Kagasoff, Abraham Simon Littner, Sabrina Littner, Grun and Rosman family, Betzalel Fisher family, Samuel Siegelfarb, Rachel Leah Siegelfarb, Dodie Ryan, David and Helen Alexander, Hi Cooper, Leah Littner, Hannah Littner, Aaron Littner, all those who perished in and due to the attacks of September 11th. It was just 20 years ago. Those who have died from COVID in this past year, and all the victims of the terrible storms that we've had and the fires. May all their memories be for a blessing. We recite the Mourner's Kaddish, found on page 148. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divra Chirutei, Be'amlich Malchutei, Chayechon, U'B'yomechon, Chayei L'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala U'B'zman Karib Imru Amen, Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam U'Memaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitba'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitale, V'yithalal, Shemei Dekutcha Berichu, Leila, Leila, Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damyon B'yalma, V'imru Amen, Yehi Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu, V'akoysev V'imru Amen, Ose Shalom B'imromav, Huyase Shalom Aleinu, V'akoysev V'imru Amen. He makes peace in the heavens above, grant peace unto us and to all Israel and to all people. Let us say Amen. Amen. You may be seated. And announcements tomorrow, services at 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock will be 10 o'clock. Yes, exactly 10 o'clock. We'll start with the brief introduction to the Shacharit morning service, then go into the Torah service, from the Torah service to the Musaf, the Yizkor, and memorial to the martyrs. And then following that, at the end of the service, we'll have a guest presentation. I'm going to put it up on our Zoom service online, and it'll be on the screen here so you can follow it, but also at home, you can follow it on Facebook and YouTube as well. It'll be posted there on our sites. So that will be with Rebecca Sealfon talking about how we can reach our own Jews by reaching out to non-Jews. Or if we are confident what Judaism is about, to others we can be confident about what it is to ourselves, for our younger generation. So, and then tomorrow afternoon, 5:30 online, I'll have my comments. They'll be on Facebook and YouTube, and comments for the Torah reading of the afternoon and the book of Jonah. So don't miss my words of wisdom. And at 6:30, we will have the Ne'ilah again being put on Facebook and YouTube, not on Zoom, but Facebook and YouTube. And that will be at 6:30, so it will end and wrap at about 7:30, about the right time for the shofar blowing and to get something after the day's fast. So that's coming up. Then Shabbat, we are doing a preview of Sukkot. We can't get our Sukkah up this year for a variety of reasons. We're going to do pre-Sukkot on Shabbat, and I'm going to have a presentation of a story by Agnon and a clip from the film Ushpizin that demonstrates or illustrates this story for us. And then the following Shabbat, which would be the Shabbat, the next one, during Chol Hamoed Sukkot, again, because for technical reasons, it's difficult to pull a minyan together in person here midweek. So we're going to do our Yizkor that following Shabbat during Chol Hamoed of Sukkot. So that's on the agenda, the immediate agenda. And with that, anything else? We want to thank Carmen and our two techies there, Carmen Fraser, and then Abram and Isaac Nikfar, and to Samar for making sure they get here on time, good, and Mother, and to Joe, Marcelo, to Cantor Isaac Budai for his parts in the service, Jeff at the door, handling the door, and all those, and who else? Bill Oppenheimer has also been helping, all those who have helped us out to make this High Holidays work. And we have fixed the sound. I think you discovered that, the famous story of for want of a nail, the horse was lost. For want of the horse, the rider was lost. You know the one, and then in the end, that's everything is lost. The war is lost, and that's it. The kingdom is lost. So here, it was all because of the equivalent of a nail on a horseshoe. It was a little plug that Carmen is showing up for us. If you don't believe me, you know, it's a little tiny plug, and it just burnt out in the middle of services last week. So we got that taken care of, and sound, I hope, is much better, especially for all those who are listening online, as well as those sitting here. With that, enough said. We'll conclude with Cantor, your pick, Adon Olam or Yigdal. What do you pick?
Yigdal.
Yigdal for Yantiv. Yigdal for Yantiv, page 150. It's 151 or 152 in the online. Yigdal, go ahead, it's all yours.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא והנט אל מציאותו, אחד בן יחיד כייחודו, נעלם בים אין סוף ליחדותו. אין לו דמות הגוף ואין הגוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו. קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו. הינו אדון עולם לכל נוסר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את תמונתו. תורת אמת נתן לימואל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו. לא יכל להתפעל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו. סופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו. גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרשעתו. ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפדות מחכי כס ישועתו. מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו. מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו.
To all of you, we say a Gemar Chatima Tova, right? May you be sealed for a good year. Rosh Hashanah, it's Kativa Tova, may be written for a good year. Rosh Hashanah, Gemar Chatima Tova. Sealed, signed, sealed, and delivered. Good year to all of you.